I love these moments with you.
Me too. It's so peaceful here with you. Good morning, handsome.
Morning, beautiful.
I love waking up like this.
Me too.
Let's start with a simple question, and I want you to answer it honestly. When you think about being intimate with your partner, what is the primary goal in your mind? If your answer is simply to reach the finish line or to make sure she gets hers, I want to challenge you to think bigger today. For years, we've been fed a narrative about performance, about lasting longer, going harder, being a machine in the bedroom. But if you've been following my work, you know that I believe intimacy isn't a performance. It's a connection, it's a conversation between two bodies. And here's the hard truth that many men never learn: the female body doesn't respond to a hammer, it responds to a key. A specific, well-crafted key that fits its unique lock. Today, we're not just talking about sex positions, we're going to build a complete roadmap. We're going to explore the biology, the psychology, and the practical techniques that transform simple intercourse into a deeply satisfying experience for her. An experience that makes her feel seen, desired, and completely fulfilled. Over the next 30 minutes, we'll cover the four most effective positions backed by physiological science, the subtle adjustments that make them work, the most common mistakes men make, and how to build a foundation of confidence and stamina so you can show up as the partner she craves. But before we get into the mechanics, we have to establish one crucial principle. You cannot fix a problem you don't understand. And the problem most men face, why their partner doesn't climax from intercourse alone, isn't a problem at all. It's a misunderstanding of anatomy. Think of the clitoris like an iceberg. You see the small tip, the glans, which is located above the vaginal opening. It's incredibly sensitive, packed with over 8,000 nerve endings, twice the number in the head of a penis. But that visible tip is just the beginning. The vast majority of the clitoral structure is internal. It's a wishbone-shaped network of erectile tissue called the crura, which extends downward and wraps around the vagina. When a woman becomes aroused, blood floods this entire network. It swells just like an erection. This is the single most important biological fact to understand about female pleasure. Clitoral blood flow is the strongest predictor of orgasm, not depth of penetration, not speed, not force. Blood flow. When that internal network is engorged, it becomes incredibly sensitive to pressure and stimulation. And here's the key. It can be stimulated indirectly through the vaginal walls or directly through external contact. This is why the in and out only approach often fails. It primarily stimulates the vaginal canal, which compared to the clitoris has relatively few nerve endings. It's like trying to tickle someone through a thick winter coat. You're putting in the effort, but you're not reaching the skin. So our entire strategy today is built on one premise. How do we maximize that critical blood flow and then apply consistent, targeted stimulation to the entire clitoral complex? We do it through positioning, angling, and technique. We're going to stop hammering and start connecting, but before we jump into the positions, let's briefly touch on the other half of the equation, her mind. The brain is her largest erogenous zone. If she feels stressed, rushed, pressured to perform, or disconnected from you, her body will not respond, no matter how perfect the angle is. Her nervous system will be in fight or flight mode, not rest and digest, the state required for arousal. So the foundation for everything we're about to discuss is safety, connection, and presence. Foreplay isn't just the 5 minutes before penetration. It starts hours, even days before. It's in the text you send her, the look you give her across the room, the way you listen without trying to fix anything. It's in making her feel like the most desirable woman in the world. When her mind is at ease, her body can follow. All right, let's get into the first position, and we're starting with a powerful one. Position number 1 puts her in control, and there's a powerful reason for that. Let's call this one the conductor. The mechanics are simple. She's on top, facing you. This allows her to control the angle, the depth, the rhythm, and the pressure. Now let's talk about the science. Why is this so effective for her? As we discussed, clitoral blood flow is key. Ultrasound studies have shown that this position, sometimes called the female superior position, creates the most dramatic and symmetrical increase in blood flow to the entire clitoral structure. When she's in control, her body relaxes more deeply, allowing that vascular engorgement to happen unhindered. Then there's the emotional component. There's a profound psychological shift here. She's not a passive participant. She's the conductor of the orchestra. This sense of agency and empowerment is an immense turn-on. It allows her to stop worrying about whether she's doing it right and simply focus on what feels good to her. Now let's address the biggest mistake men make with this position. Many men treat this as a chance to just lie back and receive. They disengage. Or worse, they grab her hips and start forcefully bouncing her up and down, turning her into a prop for their own pleasure. This completely defeats the purpose. So how do you master the conductor? Your role here is to be the supportive, admiring base. Here's your action plan. First, create the invitation. Gently guide her to straddle you, maintaining eye contact. Let her see the desire in your eyes. Second, be the anchor. Your job is stability. Let her set the pace. Place your hands on her hips or thighs, but follow her lead. Don't dictate it. Third, encourage exploration. Whisper to her, tell her she's beautiful, then encourage her to experiment. Say something like, I love watching you. Find the spot that feels best. Grind on me, rock, find your rhythm. Fourth, pay attention to the rock versus the bounce. You'll notice that many women, when they're truly focused on their own pleasure, will naturally shift from a bouncing motion to a more circular or back and forth grinding motion. This is key. The grinding motion keeps her clitoris in constant contact with your pubic bone, providing that consistent, targeted pressure we talked about. Finally, engage with your hands. Your hands aren't just for holding. You can gently stroke her thighs, her back, her breasts. You can use your thumbs to provide additional clitoral stimulation if she's open to it. Ask her, do you want my help there? Communication is everything. The takeaway for the conductor is simple. Your mantra here is support, don't steer. Your greatest tool is your presence and your encouragement. Let her take the lead and you'll both be rewarded. Now let's move to a position that might seem incredibly basic, but with one small adjustment becomes one of the most powerful tools in your arsenal. I call this one the angle. The mechanics are familiar. This is the classic face-to-face position with you on top. The modification is simple. Place a firm pillow or two under her hips. Now for the science. Lifting her hips does something crucial. It tilts her pelvis upward. This changes the angle of your entry. Instead of simply entering straight on, your penis now glides along the front wall of her vagina. This creates two benefits. First, it brings your pubic bone into direct and consistent contact with her clitoris with every thrust. Second, the pressure on the front vaginal wall stimulates the internal network of the clitoris, the crura that lies just behind it. You're hitting the target from both sides. The emotional component is equally important. This position keeps you face to face. She can see you, kiss you, wrap her legs around you. This fosters an incredible sense of intimacy, safety, and connection. She feels enveloped by you, so what's the biggest mistake men make with the angle? They think the pillow is the magic solution on its own, then go back to their usual fast, hard, piston-like thrusting. The angle is improved, but the technique is still wrong. Here's how to master the angle. First, set the stage. After some intimate foreplay, gently place the pillow under her hips. Do it as part of the moment, not as a clinical adjustment. You can whisper, I want to try something that will help me get even closer to you. Second, enter slowly. When you enter her, do it slowly and deliberately. Pay attention to the sensation. You'll likely feel a tighter, different angle. Third, change your thrust. This is the most important part. Stop thinking about thrusting in and out. Start thinking about a deep, grinding rock. Once you're fully inside, instead of pulling all the way out, keep your hips pressed against her and make small, deep, circular or rocking motions. This maintains that constant pressure on her clitoris and front wall. It's about creating a wave of pressure, not a series of jabs. Fourth, vary the depth. Experiment with shallower, teasing strokes near the entrance, which is packed with nerve endings, followed by those deep, grinding rocks. The contrast can be incredibly stimulating. Fifth, use your whole body. Your chest against hers, your face next to hers. Whisper to her, kiss her neck. Your entire body becomes a source of stimulation, not just your pelvis. The takeaway for the angle is that the pillow is a simple tool, but the real secret is the deep, rocking grind that maintains constant, intimate contact. It transforms a classic position into a precision instrument for her pleasure. Position number 3 is less of a position and more of a specific technique, but it is so transformative that it deserves its own spotlight. In the research, it's often called the coital alignment technique, or CAT. I like to call it the wave. This technique was specifically developed by sex therapists to help couples where the woman had never been able to orgasm during intercourse, and the results were remarkable. Women who thought they were unable to climax during penetration had their first experience using this method. Let's break down the mechanics. Start in the missionary position, but your partner's body should be positioned slightly higher than usual, with her legs perhaps draped over yours. The goal is to align your bodies so that the base of your penis and your pubic bone are in constant contact with her clitoris. The movement is not thrusting. It's a gentle, synchronized rocking motion like a wave. Now the science. By eliminating the in and out and focusing on a rocking pressure, you are providing continuous, unbroken stimulation to the clitoris. You're not just visiting the area with each thrust, you're creating a sustained building pressure. This is far more effective for building arousal to the point of climax. The emotional component is profound. This technique requires you to move as one. It's not about your individual performance, it's about your joint rhythm. This builds immense teamwork and connection. She feels completely attuned to you and you to her. The biggest mistake men make is trying it once, thrusting a few times, getting impatient, and reverting to their old habits. The wave requires patience and focus. Here's how to master the wave. First, get into position. Start in a modified missionary position. Have her move up slightly so her clitoris is in line with the base of your penis. You may need to support some of your weight on your forearms. Second, achieve alignment. Once you're inside, gently press your bodies together so there's no gap. You want to feel connected from chest to pelvis. Third, initiate the wave motion. Now, instead of thrusting, you're going to rock your entire body. As you rock forward and slightly downward, your pelvis will press more firmly against hers. As you rock back, the pressure releases slightly. She can mirror this motion with her own hips, creating a gentle, undulating rhythm. Fourth, focus on pressure, not movement. The feeling should be one of deep internal pressure and external friction, not a sliding sensation. Imagine you're trying to press a stamp into a surface. It's a firm, consistent pressure, not a rubbing motion. Fifth, communicate and adjust. This can feel strange at first. You need to talk. Ask her, is this pressure good? Does this spot feel right? Let her guide you to the perfect angle and rhythm. You might need to shift your hips higher or lower, or she might need to adjust her leg position. The goal is to find the exact spot and pressure that works for her and then maintain it with that wave-like rocking. The takeaway for the wave is that this is the ultimate exercise in synchronized intimacy. It proves that climax isn't about power, but about precise, connected, and consistent pressure. If she's struggled in the past, be patient and practice this technique. It can be a true revelation. Our final position is one that prioritizes deep emotional connection and intimacy. I call it the sanctuary. Let's look at the mechanics. Sit facing each other, perhaps on a bed or a comfortable chair. She can wrap her legs around your waist and you can support her back or hips. This position often allows for shallower penetration, which is key. Now for the science. While the direct clitoral stimulation might be less intense than in the conductor or the wave, the stimulation here comes from full body contact and the shallowness of penetration. The vaginal entrance, the introitus, is one of the most densely nerve-rich areas. By focusing on this area, you're stimulating those nerve endings directly. The emotional component is where this position truly shines. You are face-to-face, eye-to-eye. You can kiss, whisper, caress, and breathe together. This level of vulnerability and eye contact triggers the release of oxytocin, the love hormone or bonding hormone for both of you. This creates a feeling of safety, trust, and profound emotional satisfaction. For many women, this emotional connection is just as important, if not more so, than the physical stimulation for reaching a climax. The biggest mistake men make is treating this as just a warm-up position or trying to force deep, powerful thrusting, which can be uncomfortable in this configuration. Here's how to master the sanctuary. First, create the space. Pull her close, wrap your arms around her. Look into her eyes, take a moment just to breathe together and connect. Second, focus on the shallows, guide her onto you but focus on shallow penetration. Stay near the entrance, tease that area, rock your hips gently, allowing the sensation to build. Third, harness the power of eye contact, hold her gaze. This isn't always easy, but it's incredibly powerful. Let her see your desire, your affection, your presence. It says, I am here with you right now and there's nowhere else I'd rather be. Fourth, add layers of touch. Use your hands to stroke her back, her hair, her face. Kiss her. The more sensory input you provide, the more she feels enveloped and adored. Fifth, transition, don't abandon. You can use this position as a beautiful starting point, then gently transition to the angle or the conductor. The key is to move with intention, maintaining the connection you've built. The takeaway for the sanctuary is that this position is a masterclass in intimacy. It proves that pleasure isn't just about friction, it's about connection, safety, and being truly seen by your partner. It builds the emotional trust that makes all the other positions more effective. So we've covered the 4 key positions: the conductor, the angle, the wave, and the sanctuary. Each one targets her pleasure from a different angle, physically and emotionally. But a toolkit is useless if you don't know how to use the tools. So here is your simple, actionable plan to integrate this into your intimate life. Step 1 is the conversation. This is the most important step. You don't just spring a new position on her in the heat of the moment. Find a calm, neutral time. You can say something like, I've been reading about some ways to make our intimacy even better, and I'd love to try something new with you that focuses on your pleasure. Would you be open to experimenting together? This makes her your partner in exploration, not just the subject of an experiment. Step 2 is to choose one. Don't try to do all 4 in one night. Pick the one that resonates with you most. Maybe start with the sanctuary to build connection or the conductor to give her control. Step 3 is to focus on feedback. When you try it, your only goal is to be present and listen to her feedback, both her verbal feedback and the non-verbal cues of her body. Ask her more like this, slower. Let her guide you. Step 4 is to support your own foundation. And finally, take care of yourself. Your confidence, your stamina, your overall vitality, it all matters. You cannot pour from an empty cup. This means managing stress, getting good sleep, eating well, and exercising. And if you feel your body needs targeted support, whether for circulation, stamina, or drive, consider science-backed natural options. Your physical engine needs to be tuned to perform at its best. Gentlemen, here is the ultimate truth. The secret to her pleasure isn't a secret at all. It's attention, it's intention, it's the willingness to slow down, to listen, to experiment, and to see her not as a puzzle to be solved, but as a person to be discovered. When you shift your focus from your own performance to her experience, something magical happens. The pressure dissolves, the anxiety fades, and what's left is a genuine, powerful, and deeply satisfying connection. I want to hear from you. Which of these 4 positions, the conductor, the angle, the wave, or the sanctuary, will you try first? Which one feels like the biggest game changer for your relationship? Leave a comment below and let me know. I read them. If this video provided value, please like it and share it with a friend. It might start a conversation that transforms his relationship too. Thank you for spending this time with me. Be present, be intentional, and take care of yourself and the one you love. I'll see you in the next video.